So today is September 7th, 2022. We're here in the Minnesota Veterans Home in Minneapolis. I'm Kevin Yee, the interviewer, and I'm here with Mr. John Mendelson today.
Mendenhall.
Mendenhall, my bad.
Yeah.
Thank you a ton for coming.
Excuse me.
Yeah. So we'll just get started off. Can you tell me where and when you were born?
I was born in Minneapolis in a certain hospital where my mom delivered me.
Yeah. And when were you born?
When?
Yeah.
I guess I don't know exactly what you're asking.
What's your birthday?
1/25/51.
Yeah.
Let's see, January 25th, 1951.
So, who are your parents?
My mother's name was Rose Mendenhall. My dad was Marvin Mendenhall.
Yeah. What did they do for their jobs?
Well, my mom had quite a bit of chores trying to keep all 8 kids entertained, and well, she was very good.
Yeah.
And my dad, he was not in the army or anything, but he worked as a welder, I think, on does some welding for, excuse me, yeah, welding for military purposes.
Yeah.
They're very picky about doing good welding, and my dad was very good. Yeah.
So, what did you do while growing up?
Oh, I got interested in insects when I was little. Always playing around with grasshoppers or different things. Like you hear out in the area at night, you might hear those. I think they call them snowy crickets.
Yeah.
They just rub their wings. That's just so neat. I like to listen to them and capture them. Just have fun with them.
Yeah.
Just listen to them sing. It's so soothing.
So, did you have any kind of like military background in your family?
Yeah. My 2 older brothers got drafted too.
Oh, okay. So, did you kind of think that you would be next? Ever?
Well, they're wondering about that. But I have a younger brother who was qualified, but they just didn't do anything. He was never in the army, but he was certified to be drafted if the war was still going on. But he was the good one. My younger brother, he never was in the army, but that didn't stop him from doing good things.
Yeah. So, where were you before you got drafted into the army?
Oh, I was going to University of Minnesota, well, UN. I got there on a scholarship from my graduation at 1969.
Yeah. So, did it come in like the mail, or did someone tell you you were
Oh,
being drafted?
it's still a letter from the president,
Yeah.
and that pretty much sealed your fate, if you want to look at that way. Maybe getting used by the Army to have people to participate in in wars or practice, just going after targets. But they were just training. There wasn't an enemy there.
Yeah. So once you were drafted, how did your family and friends feel about you being in the military?
I think they were glad. We had, I was home for a little while, for a month or so, way back when, I don't remember. But we just, well, if you gotta go, you gotta go.
How did you feel about being in the military?
Well, I wasn't too happy about it. And I remember that when I was flying over well, when they sent me off to go into their room, into the floor, I guess I just started crying.
Were you scared about being in the Army?
Well, it was a challenge, but once I got into the being in basic training and stuff, we just tried to obey what the president wants.
What was boot camp like?
Pardon?
What was boot camp like?
Yeah, but that's another one too. It was kind of funny. I was a little bit overweight, and they gave us exercise, and I'm trying to remember again. Basic training, they taught us how to and shooting and throwing hand grenades and stuff like that. And when I was throwing hand grenade, I just held it and they had a barrier there. I just sort of lobbed it over on the other side.
Yeah.
And the sergeant that saw me do that, he said, "You better throw that thing as far as you can." Yeah.
What do you remember the most about training?
Training?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I was hoping for some sort of a truck mechanic or something like that. But, well, my oldest brother was drafted. He was a helicopter mechanic in South Korea.
Yeah.
And my brother Alan, he was a truck mechanic. He was in Vietnam too, but not my older brother.
So, when did you finish all of your training?
My final training was in military in Georgia. South. Well, it's what it is to South Korea. Fort Gordon, Georgia?
Yeah.
I think so.
When was it that you went over to Korea?
Pardon?
When did you go over to Korea?
Oh, that was about November 11th, I think. I don't know if I remember.
And how were you taken to Korea?
Pardon?
How were you transported to Korea?
Oh, we flew by jet.
Yeah.
Yeah, an old red tail or whatever we called it. That they had flashed directly, but when we left the United States, we landed in Japan, or maybe it was Japan. And then I think we went from Japan to flew over and landed in outside of Seoul, Korea.
And what was it like when you first got to Korea?
Well, it was a whole new experience for us. We were picked up and assigned to a battalion, 307th, I think it was, and
what was your specific job?
radio teletype operator. Yeah, that's in the book too. It's those pictures of it that I have in the book.
Yeah. What surprised you the most about military life being in Korea?
Well, I just read we were in operating radios, part of a network of different radios. So we were well, anyway, that's what we did, just in case we'd be on a radio alert.
What did you do on the first few days you were in Korea?
What do I remember? Just sort of getting in there and being gathered into a group. And then we were well, in our group. When I went to Korea, we were greeted and we were sent over to Korea. And from Korea we went to Fort Gordon, Georgia was my last one. Our finishing part of our training was at Fort Gordon, Georgia.
Yeah. So, when you were in Korea, what was an average day like for you?
Well, I had some things I did, some funny things I've done. I was interested in insects and stuff, but I did other things. Just getting familiar with things, walking around and getting the layout of the gathering up on our radio site.
Yeah. And where would you live? What were the living conditions like?
Oh, no, I just went back after I was in the army, got back home. I moved in back with my family.
While you were in Korea, though, where did they have you sleep and eat and everything?
You know, they had some, which is what I want to call it, some sort of a dome corrugated building, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had beds in there, and we had lockers to put our equipment in. And I entertained myself by hunting. Yeah, that's funny. I was hunting cicadas with a slingshot and acorns.
In Korea?
Yep.
Yeah. Was that on base or?
What's that?
Was that on base or just?
Oh, I was on base there where I did my hunting and stuff, and operated radio, and I sent in and got some books and had them shipped to me. And with these books, I would read them a lot and get extra information. So I wasn't involved in anything destructive or something like that.
Yeah.
But that reminds me of a funny thing that I did. Was I was in South Korea, I thought there was a mouse underneath my bed.
Yeah.
So I took my tools I had, and I made a rubber band mouse trap.
So, how often would you go hunting for the cicadas?
Oh, just whenever I had time off. And I learned that in Minneapolis there's only one kind of cicada, but over there in South Korea, I think there's like 3 different kinds of different ones, but all started singing and stuff different ways.
And did the acorn slingshot thing work?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, we just used rubber bands. My brother sent a certain type of rubber band. You put 2 of them together, and there's just 2 bands, so it's just kind of small. But it was all homemade.
Yeah. Would other soldiers in your unit do that with you?
No, I don't think so. I suppose I said, "What are you doing?" We had it good though. There's other things to do. We had swimming and the pool, and we could go swimming there. And they had a bowling alley, and they had a movie building too. So that was what entertained us, unless we went back outside of the base and drink beer or other things.
Yeah. Do you remember any of the people that you served with?
Well, we got some more pictures here. Well,
yeah. We can definitely go through them at the end.
and did you want to look at them or just?
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I got here.
Yeah. So this is like the battalion
Yeah,
book.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I have different people there. These just people there.
I'll just show this to the camera. Oh, there's the pictures. So these are some of the people that were in your unit?
Yeah, different divisions.
Yeah. And you were in 307th Signal
Yeah.
Battalion? Right. Yeah, we'll just go there. So how many of there were you in
In my
307th
unit?
Signal? Yeah.
Oh, there was about 5. Like 4 operators and 1 sergeant that was in charge of us, our group.
Yeah. I guess we could look at some of your specific pictures.
They kind of follow.
These ones.
Yeah.
So you could just show each of them to the camera then.
Like this one like that.
Yeah. Where is that picture from?
It's a picture of me marching. We got 2 from here. That one's in my unit where I was operating in the Army. A picture of me coming out and showing them how just me coming out towards the camera.
Yeah.
And then this other one is marching over to a guy who wanted to take my picture. And that was me walking up closer without my cap on. And just good at it. Just kind of have an attitude because they got me off guard and took my picture.
Yeah. What are some of the other ones in here?
This one is it's me exploring. Well, this is right in the back of this 1025-72. This is exploring the wilderness of Camp Long. You want me to keep me going?
Sure. Yeah, you can just go through all of them.
Yeah. And this is a picture of when I was goofing around there. I broke a bone in my ankle. And I sent this picture back to my family. Makes me kind of laugh. I don't know how these things have been preserved pretty good.
Yeah. And was this where you would sleep in South Korea?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not bad.
No, not too bad. Yeah, we did other things.
Yeah. How about this one? What's going
Yeah,
on
this
there?
is one of our equipment that I operated. It just gives you a layout of where I worked.
Yeah. Do you still remember what each of those wires and...
Pardon?
Do you still remember what all those wires and buttons do?
Oh, well, that's all different connections for what is going inside. And it was just it was the inside of one who it's not complete. It's just all the security gear and all the I don't know if they have information like this anymore. We got a teletype that would that we had to learn to this is on the keyboard, and we had to learn how to run teletype with our hands. And that was something else too. We had practice. I don't know, I think it was in the Signal School in Georgia. We had to learn the sequence of, well, it's like an ordinary machine. With it. Well, I'm looking at this one, and I would type it up and send a message to my family. I send them letters when I printed on we had to change frequencies, and there was other things to do, but I spent most of my time doing different things.
How about this one? Is that the same desk? Or?
Yeah. That's another one that tells some of the equipment we got. A teletype and a radio and different frequencies.
Yeah.
And then we had scramble thing. I don't know if they use that anymore. They'd probably have something a lot more modern. Well, anyway, this was 50 years ago, and they probably has better equipment than that now.
Yeah.
And so I'm just an old guy. I try to serve my country.
You want to flip the picture around real quick? This one. What's going on there?
Yeah, that's a picture of me working with another guy. He was from Maryland, and he was more dressed up. And me, I got my whole bag of books, and this other guy had combat boots that were dressed, or whatever you want to call it, but I didn't do that on my boots. I was
Yeah.
I was kind of a sloppy guy.
Do you want to flip it around real quick?
Just
yeah. And are you the one on the right? This guy.
Yeah.
That's you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you remember where that picture is from?
Well, in South Korea.
Somewhere in South Korea.
I Camp Long.
Oh, okay. Then is this the same bed that you were on with the broken ankle?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they printed this right, because I don't know how you could do it, but I was pretty sure that I broke my left foot, and they copied it, or they printed it, and somehow it's on my right leg, and that's not, well, you just look at it, and it could be flipped around and stuff, but I'm pretty sure that was on my